Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of the Eagles on the Air podcast. I'm Rhett Terrell, joined here with Bradley Hanna, and this week we're going to be giving you a preview of the FBCA versus LSA game. Then after that, we're going to be going into some depth about D2 playoffs and see where FBCA fits into there. And then we're going to be looking at the FBCA versus Emery Wiener game this Thursday, senior night for the Eagles. You're watching Eagles on the Air.
Welcome back to the Eagles on the Air podcast. I'm Bradley Hanna, here joined with Rhett Terrell. And we had a great game 2 weeks ago. Actually, we had a bye week last week, but 2 weeks ago from the FBCA football team against Kelly Catholic, won 48-14, back-to-back weeks where the Eagles did that. First they did against Shiner St. Paul, and then going again against Kelly Catholic. Now coming off a bye week with some rest and a lot of game planning. I've definitely heard that around the football team. A big game coming up with LSA, of course. LSA is first in the district, 2-0 in district play, beating Second Baptist and beating Kelly. So this would be huge if the Eagles can beat them to try and take that 2 seed. And LSA, actually, with Braden Robinson coming back from injury, they were able to take down Kelly Catholic, who FBCA had already taken down, 48-14. But LSA wasn't able to win by that much. They did win pretty handedly, but not 48-14. So we'll see what the matchup looks like. Also, FBCA's offense and defense will look interesting against Braden Robinson. Of course, the star DB and receiver leads LSA in receptions and receiving yards. So we'll see what the DBs look like with AJ Shell out there, Dylan Cooper, T2. Let's see what those guys can do and see if they can play a no-fly zone against Braden Robinson.
Eagles offense has looked great for the past 2 weeks, like you said, Bradley, or 3 weeks, counting the bye week. Donnie Avery, 3 touchdowns against Kelly, 160 yards, had an absolute game. Jonah Kalu on the defensive side of the ball also had a great game. 2 sacks, a couple TFLs in there. Both of them played incredible. So 2 of the big star players for the Eagles who have been playing all season are going to be at that game Friday, and we'll see what they can do against this very good LSA team in a big district game to determine who's going to get that 3 and 4 slot into the playoffs.
And ever since that switch to Braden Tibbetts, the Eagles have been looking forward, really. No looking back since then. Tomball Christian game, Braden Tibbetts really turned things around. They scored 3 times to end the game. But then ever since then, he's looked amazing. He had 4 touchdowns one game, then 5 the next game. And now they go on bye week. Then they play LSA. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a great matchup. Now, looking at the volleyball game.
FBCA's volleyball team will take on Emery Wiener this Thursday. It'll be senior night, highlighted by our 3 seniors, Channing Lowe, Daniela Ramirez, and Lacey McGrady. See if the Eagles can do. We will be broadcasting that game. They've looked great recently, coming off a big win against Second Baptist. In the 2 spot in district right now after a loss to LSA. They went into 5 sets, into overtime. So we'll see what the Eagles can do on Thursday in the volleyball game.
And this FBCA volleyball team has been outstanding the past couple years. We go back to when I was a freshman. They go to state, and they end up losing, coming up short. Then, 2 years ago, go to semis, and they lost again to LSA, actually, who's number 1. And then last year, they lost in-state again. So this FBCA volleyball team has been very close to just hitting that milestone of state champions, but they've come up short just the past couple of years. And this year, they're looking to change that. They had a very close one against LSA. We broadcasted that one, and it was super close. Went down to 5 sets where it was decided by only a couple of points. So if FBCA can really maintain that energy, I feel like they have a shot to go deep in this playoffs. Once again, I'm Bradley Hanna, here joined with Rhett Terrell. Senior night volleyball on Thursday. Toby and I will be on the call for senior night. And then Friday, we go to LSA to face the Pioneers. It's going to be a great week for broadcast. I'm Bradley Hanna, here joined with Rhett Terrell, and you're watching Eagles in the Air.